the reason why I tell brothers, go get a passport and travel to Brazil. Countries like Brazil. And the reason why I mainly pick Brazil in this case is because they have their women is very far away from American influence. Okay? Therefore, they have that, you know, my man is first. Okay? I'm going to take care of my man. Okay? As long as he takes care of me. That slipped out of here from the U.S. It's no longer here anymore. Okay? Now, it's like, I don't need a man. Okay? Or let alone, I don't need a good man. Okay? I'll just go get some simp who's got 11 baby mamas all over the place, right? And I'll take care of him.
For those of you who don't know, that is the great late Charles Tyler. He is who I would consider the godfather of the African American passport bro community. Without him, you don't get Aaron Ferris, Black Male Travels. You don't get Austin Holloman. You don't get any of these guys because, well, if it wasn't for him, that community just wouldn't exist. And he was the first guy that I seen on the internet talking about black men going to Brazil. Now, before him was another guy by the name of Al Grease, who created an awesome series called Frustrated. Now, I'll get to that in a minute. But before we get to Al Grease, I want to talk about Kenny Smith. Kenny Smith is a former NBA player. And of course, those of us from the 80s and 90s remember him. He used to play for my Sacramento Kings in the early 80s. Then he ended up winning back-to-back NBA titles with the Houston Rockets in the mid-90s. And one of the things that I noticed about women in talking about passport bros is they always use arguments that, in my honest opinion, don't make much sense. Arguments that pretty much sound like this one.
Look, if you want to go abroad and find a traditional woman to spend the rest of your life with, that's totally okay. But what you have to realize is, regardless of where you are in the world, energy doesn't lie. And just because a woman is more traditional doesn't mean she's an idiot. So if you're going abroad, you're getting your passport and you're going abroad with the intention to try to manipulate and gaslight women who don't speak English as well and aren't really accustomed to Western men and their mentalities and their manipulation tactics, know for certain that your energy's not gonna lie. Your energy's not gonna lie, no matter how much you try to cover it up. No matter how many fancy dinners you take her to, how many gifts you buy, how many compliments you give her, if you have negative underlying intentions, they will show up in your energy and she will pick up on it. That's one. The second thing that I feel like you guys are completely forgetting about is that these traditional women are super protected by the men in their families. So if you ever go abroad and try to mess with one of these girls, these traditional women, you do her wrong or you cheat on her or you lie to her, she's gonna send the men in her family after you. And they will beat your ass and probably unalive you. They probably will. You know why? Because you're a foreigner who came to their country to mess with their women that they actually respect. Well, the main lesson here, to be really blunt, is to not feel like you're untouchable just because you got a passport and you're in another country. Because your energy can't lie. It can't. You gotta change your intentions in your heart and mind in order for your energy to change. You can't hide it. And they may not be able to tell what's wrong with you right away, but eventually they'll figure it out. And if they don't figure it out, when it comes time for you to meet their families, because again, these are traditional women, they don't do the dating, they go right into marriage, which means you have to meet her family and her dad and impress everyone in her family. If you do all of that successfully, then you got the traditional wife you wanted. Congratulations. Otherwise, before you catch flights, catch this reality check.
You see, that argument is like, passport bros, those guys are broke. Those guys can't get women in America and things like that. And they try to make it to you can't make it in America thing, so you're going someplace else. All right. However, this is Kenny Smith, a guy who on TNT makes $10 million a year, a guy who is a successful NBA player, and look at this, right? This guy is dating this beautiful IG model in Brazil. Now, Kenny Smith is well into his 50s, and she can't speak English, but she's gorgeous. And what's the real reason why? Now, I had an interview with Al Grease on my channel. The video got over 150,000 views about 2 years ago. Actually, it was almost 2.5 years ago. And I wanted him to know why are black men going to Brazil? And he had this to say. American men so attracted to Brazil in comparison to other places?
Well, listen, I can't speak for all. I'll speak for some that I've traveled with out there now.
Okay.
With the Black Man Option Group now, so we do trips out there and bring brothers out there. You the prize. You the prize. And when you go out there and you're the prize, and it's not all about what you got on, what you driving and all that, man. It's kind of a little shell shock, but it's different, man. When I go out there, man, if I need stuff, I shop at Target. I get me some Bugs Bunny T-shirts. It's some Mickey Mouse shirts. All you see my
right.
None of that. They don't want no Gucci. I don't need Gucci. I don't need none of that. And I get no Jordans. I go out there. My new Jordans are the flip flops. What? I get me the flip flops. I got the flip flops, man. I put them on, and I'm good. Because I'm the prize. And just imagine. I'm just saying. Just imagine. You don't need none of that, man. When you're trying to date, approach women, you ain't got to look. You ain't got to have none of that on. You can just be yourself, and you the prize, and they coming after you.
Okay. You see, you hear those elements of what he's talking about. He feels that he's coming first. He doesn't have to do anything special to get these ladies to like him. He could have flip-flops on instead of Jordan shoes. But he's saying this as a brother who's not a multi-millionaire like Kenny Smith. So why is Kenny Smith in Brazil? The same reason why Michael Irvin went to Brazil. He wanted to de-stress. See, the thing is, Kenny Smith is going over to Brazil for the same reason that Al Grease is going to Brazil. All right, we're going to be real. Now, let me say this. If you are rich in America as a man, women definitely treat you differently. That's true. Women are going to, have a different attitude towards a person that has money. That's anywhere in the world. But the real reason why these black men are going to Brazil is for a few reasons. They feel that these ladies in Brazil have a more traditional aspect towards men, that they're willing to give them some more attention in the relationship. And this is happening for men of all income levels. Like, this is not about money anymore. A lot of the ladies want to reduce the passport bros guys down to a money thing, or you're an ugly thing, or you're a lame thing. And of course, some of that can be true. And for rich guys or poor guys, anybody can be all of those things. But what we're seeing is this is an option thing. If I have the option to be in America and deal with X, Y, and Z because of the climate there, or I have the ability to deal in Brazil for X, Y, and Z, or expand my options, then at Kenny Smith's age, he's probably dealt with a lot of ladies in America. And in America, there's a lot of women that you can have, right? And it's a lot of beautiful women. But if he's saying, like, no, I'm not really going to sit here and deal with this because I've dealt with it before, I feel like I can get more in another place and be more happier. Well, then what are you going to do? You're going to go to the place that makes you more happier. This is what you're going to see. And you're seeing a lot of guys do this. A lot of guys are going to many different parts of the world, and it's just not middle-class guys. And I've been critical of certain dudes. Like, look, there's some brothers over there coming over that are not financially successful, and and they end up having to go back. But what do you say about a guy like Kenny Smith? What do you say about guys that actually are doing very well? See, these arguments are not for everybody, but these guys who have different levels of income are saying the same thing. That's what we don't want to get around. They're all saying the same thing. They're saying like, look, we don't like what we see. We'd rather be around something that's better. And I get that black men, if they had something better, they could change the women in their society. I'm not trying to say that, but this is the argument that these guys are making. Okay, everybody not gonna be so pro black O'Shea, and there are black women in Brazil. So what are the brothers gonna do? Brothers are gonna go to where they feel that they have a shot. My partner was here in Uganda for about almost 2 weeks. He lives in Brooklyn, owns his house and everything. He's like, yo, this is his first time coming to Africa ever. He's like, man, just the climate there is so much different than New York City. He was like, yo, once I get my retirement, I'm back out there for good. Like, there's no way I'm going to live here in America anymore after coming and experiencing that. This is just the norm you hear overseas. He just like the food is fresher. Start talking about the weather, things like that. It's just a vibe. We went out to the club and ain't nobody fighting, stuff like that. Like, guys just appreciate the stuff, right? So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. Producer for all that you do, subscribe to the bell. We're out.